Brice here with Mixed Alternative Magazine, and with me, as always, today is Seth Thomas, which he's like my Garth. So, Seth, hey, party on, dude.
Hey, party on, Nicole.
But anyway, welcome to another episode of Unscripted Verbiage, where basically we discuss anything that tickles our fancy if it's music related, and we don't care. And that's pretty much it. So today we are promoting Radfest, which is a 2-day festival coming up in Lafayette. It's next weekend, Friday and Saturday. Friday's at Feed and Seed. Saturday it's at Park International. We've got an amazing lineup of talent that's going to be taking the stage both days. But today we have the New Orleans-based band, one of my favorites. She Might Be a Beast. And they are playing day one at Radfest at Feed and Seed, and they go on from 7:45 to 8:15. And so be sure to get your tickets now. And I think there's still some VIP passes left, right, Seth?
There's a few. If I'm not
There's a
mistaken,
few.
I'll talk to
Okay.
Grant.
So
Yep.
Grant has a few VIP passes if you haven't gotten those yet. So be sure to check that out. But that's basically my lovely intro I just did for y'all. But thanks for joining
By,
us. What's up? How are y'all today?
by the way, too, real quick before I
Oh,
forget,
yes.
we will be giving away tickets on Planet Radio 106.7 this week. So if you go to listentotheplanet.com, we will be giving away 2 pairs of tickets on listentotheplanet.com. Text to win club. So you got a chance to win tickets to Radfest both Friday and Saturday night. Just go to listentotheplanet.com and you can get hooked up. So that'll be courtesy of Planet Radio 106.7 and The Rage.
Yep. Planet Radio 106.7. If you're not familiar with it, I'll throw up a link and you'll have to go check them out. So, all right. Seth, do you want to open this up with questions or should I just dive right in? What you
Well,
got?
Jake and Julian are both with us today, and I really want to thank you guys for sending me music. First time I actually get to meet the band, like members of this band, but they've sent me music for quite a while. So, Nicole, you've been a big fan of theirs, and I've been listening to their music for quite a while. It's awesome to finally get to meet Jake and Julian. So, hello, guys, how you doing?
How y'all doing?
We are good.
We
We
just
are
want to
awesome.
say
You want me to lead
thank
this,
you
Seth?
guys so much for having us
Oh,
on.
dude, no, we appreciate y'all. And this is all about just promoting y'all, promoting your personality, getting your faces out there. So then, when people come who aren't familiar with your music come out to see y'all play, then they know who you are, basically, because you got to put a face with the name, right? So, my first question for
Heck
you
yeah.
guys. First question is, okay, so between your band and then we've got bands like Jean-Claude Segal and then we've got Phantom Sun and they're kind of doing the more alternative grunge sound, especially with you guys. So was that intentional that you decided you wanted to play more of a grunge sound instead of the typical metal that most Louisiana musicians go for? And then how did you decide the sound direction of the band?
So I guess I'll start by saying me and Julian, we've been playing together our whole lives, and
Mhm.
our we've always been a big fan of like '90s band and or
Oh no,
2000
Jake,
bands
you're
and
breaking
stuff like
up.
that. And I'd say kind of am I?
Yeah, you were breaking
How's
up for a
that?
second. It's
Is
okay.
that
You're good now.
can y'all hear me?
Yep,
Yep.
now we
Yeah.
can. So yeah, just I guess give us a little band history of what made you
Sorry.
want to play
Yeah,
more of a
so
grunge style.
gotcha. Yeah, I think that what separates us, like our sound from a lot of the other bands that you hear, because like you were saying, a lot of the other bands do go for the straight metal.
Hmm.
And we've always been surrounded by New Orleans music. So I don't know if that adds to the grunge sound, but I feel like we have that little dash of New Orleans funk into our music that kind of gives it more of a kind of more of a groove, I'd say. We try to incorporate all different kind of sounds that we've heard over the years. And yeah, and we've always been fans of bands from the 90s like I was saying. And I guess it's comes down to our parents what kind of music they listen to and they kind of raise us on.
Well, good parenting then. So kudos, shout out to your parents for that. Because it definitely influenced your sound. And what I like about your music is that it's refreshing because it is so different. So like, when people see my shirt and they'll ask me like, well, oh, what does that band sound like? And I'm like, dude, they don't sound like anything from Louisiana. Like they're so different. And so that's what I love about you guys because then, from like a marketing perspective, even, it's easier to market you and your music because it is so unique. And so, when people do ask you, well, what does it sound like? It's like, well, it kind of sounds like this, but then it kind of sounds like this, but then it kind of sounds like this. It's not just one, specific genre, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something
that's
that
one of my
we really
favorite
take pride
things.
in.
Julian, you have
Yeah,
something you want to
to
add? Go
where
ahead. We
we
don't
get
want to
to
keep it quiet.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like recently has been one of my favorite things about playing shows is
Mhm.
hearing all the bands people are telling us like, oh, y'all must be inspired by band A or band B, but it's
Right.
always 4 or 5 different bands that people are comparing us to. It feels good to get that, instead of like hearing the same band over and over again.
Well, and diversity too is what's going to make you stand out in the musical landscape in the long run. Because, like, if you're doing the same thing as everybody else, you're going to get lost in the shuffle. But then, if
Yeah.
you've got something that's so unique that instantaneously, when people hear your product, they're like, "Oh, she might be a beast," because your sound is so, definitive. And so it's like, I really think you guys are onto something. So don't change your formula. That's my 2 cents. Seth, you want to add to that?
awesome.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys in terms of just that is, what draws you guys to continue to make music and to develop that sound that you have because it is a unique sound. And really, how do you measure that level of success with your fan base and the reactions that you get? Because you mentioned how, like, bands or fans will mention like, "Oh, you sound like band A or band B." You know, as you grow into a more regional and more of a broader aspect, how do you measure your success as a band with your fan reaction and then also your personal um I don't really know the right word to say here, your personal growth? Like, how do you guys develop that? Because everybody's level of success is different, so how do you measure that as a band?
You know, I always love to see the reaction of crowds we get from the crowd when we're playing shows, and you know we started playing at outside of dive bars and stuff like that, and the grungiest bars you could think of in New Orleans, and then we've risen up to be able to open for some famous bands and stuff like that, and that also goes back to the uh Nicole, you saying how we have sort of a very diverse sound, and that kind of allows us to open for punk bands. It allows us to open for metal bands, and you know, so I guess to measure the success, I'd say the size of the shows we're playing. Obviously, Spotify listeners is a huge one. Probably when it's music, but I guess just the more people we can introduce our band to, and the more people we can get to go follow us on social media and listen to our music and watch our videos and stuff like that. I'd say just spreading the music is the best way we can define our success.
Where have you found the biggest success? Like, what social media platform? Because some people will say like, man, our fans interact with us, and like we have the loyalist fans on TikTok, or somebody will say, hey, like our Instagram is the biggest like inspiration as far as our fan interaction. So where do you guys find the most response to your music?
I feel like there's a social media answer for this, which I'm not too great with all the online stuff, but the most interaction and the best interaction has always come in person, whether that be after one of our shows or we both love to go to shows all the time. I'd assume both of our second favorite thing to do right after playing live shows, but just talking to people about it in the scene, and kind of getting
I
that
I
live
love hearing
reaction.
that answer. Like, I love hearing that answer that you guys are out at shows and talking to people, not just actually playing your shows. You're actually out at shows. You're fans of the people who are in the scene. And that's an awesome thing to hear, because a lot of times it's like, oh, well, like we interact mostly with, I was spoiled to the question of like, who do you interact with, on social media? And your response was, no, we like to go out and meet
And
live
like
random
I
people.
started with, there is like I feel like our Instagram would probably be our biggest outlet for stuff, social media wise. Jacob is gonna know a lot more on that side of things than I would. But my most enjoyable is the in person stuff.
That's a beautiful thing to hear. Jake, do you have something you want to follow that up with?
Yeah, like Julian said, there's nothing more exciting than either after a show or just going to another band's show and talking to the fans, talking to the other musicians, and kind of getting each other excited and getting each other hyped up just by watching other musicians play. And then sometimes you go out to these shows, even if you're not playing, and you might get recognized
Mhm.
by different locals, and that's always
Yeah.
great. We love to talk to all the people that go to the shows, and it kind of puts a fire under us to keep doing it. But like Julian said, Instagram is definitely the bigger one. Facebook and TikTok are great as well, but I just feel like I don't know. I feel like Instagram is probably the biggest one when it comes to building your community for bands that I've seen. I mean, I know TikTok is easy to, well, it's not easy, but it's easier to gain new fans and kind of, for your videos to kind of circulate out there. But Instagram really is the big community builder to where I've found the most success meeting new bands, meeting other people in the industry, all through Instagram. I feel like it's a really good tool for new bands out there.
No, I'm gonna add to that. I agree with you because, like, I've noticed, like, with Facebook, the algorithms they're skewed more towards local. So if you're trying to reach a more local audience, then Facebook is the one that
Hmm.
you want to go on. But whereas Instagram is more of your international
Absolutely.
audience. Like, I know just from, like, our magazine, even though our following isn't huge on Instagram yet, more people from other countries are discovering us and what we're about because of Instagram. And, like, I don't do TikTok, and I won't even get into that why. I have my reasons why. But anyway. Now, I have a question real quick. Seth, did you have something before I lead into this
No, go
question?
right ahead.
Okay, so this is my question, and you're probably going to laugh at me. So I love the band name. Okay, so my husband and I, we were having a discussion about your band name. And he goes, well, where did it come from? This is my explanation, but then you can tell me what it was. So explanation I gave my husband, I said, you know what, dude? I said, I think the name came from, it's about some dude who had his beer goggles on when he went out one night and he was taking a chick home only to discover that, oh crap, she might be a beast. So tell me, where did the name come from?
That is funny. But it actually came from just it was a me and one of my friends were hanging out and we were just stepped outside for a second, but we were playing a video game. I think we were playing Call of Duty or something.
Mhm.
And my fiance, well, she was my girlfriend, now she's my fiance.
Okay.
She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play the game while y'all go outside." So, and then it was Call of Duty, so my friend was like, "Dude, what if she gets like 1,000 kills?" And I'm like, "Dude, she might be a beast." And then I was just like, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Let me like jot that down in my memory." And
Man, I
then,
like
but
my
when the
explanation
time
better.
came to name the new band, I was just like, "Yeah, no, yours is definitely more exciting." But you know, like I was saying, it's just one of those random things that came up in conversation and it just stuck. And I'm super happy that we went with the band name that we went with because, a lot of these other bands, they'll pick generic names that, you look it up and there might be five other bands with the same name.
Yes.
Yep.
But,
Yes.
if you type in She Might Be a Beast, we are the first 30 things that pop up on Google.
Yes.
So it's been very easy for people to find us when they look up our name. And I think that's the main reason why it's been successful for us.
Well,
Where
and
the
it's a
eyeball?
unique name that stands out. Like,
Yeah. Where?
it's just, it catches your attention. It makes you want to go, oh, I want to check this band out?
Yeah. Exactly. Where the eyeball come from? Where that whole thing come
Yeah.
from?
The
Because
eyeball.
it stands out too. Like the name and the
So
logo stick out.
thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I feel like that's helped the name and the logo have both helped us with our branding a lot. But it's really I was just designing something. I was trying to design the logo for the band like maybe 2 days after we formed this band, and
Hmm.
I made an Instagram account for the band, and I was just on Canva trying to create a logo, and I was like doing a bunch of things. One of them was like a fist, one of them was like a triangle, and I was just looking through different images, and the eyeball came up, and I was like, what if I just wrote the band name around it? And it stuck and people really seem to like it. We've sold a lot of merch with it, and I feel like it's a very defining thing. It helps us with our branding a lot. And because the logo and the band is so like kind of green, I guess like that's helped us a lot too. The color
Color
marketing,
scheme.
as some people
Yeah.
would say, because like somebody will like see some green shoes, like somebody wearing some green shoes, and they'll be like, "Oh, look, it's the She Might Be a Beast shoes," and I have a green guitar, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it's the She Might Be a Beast guitar." So that's kind of really worked out for us, and yeah, that's what I suggest to any band out there, any business, really, find a color that you can kind of run with. It helps out.
Well, yeah, the color scheme is very important because it's identifiable with your brand. So, like, I worked in marketing for a very well-known fast food restaurant that I can't say their name. But anyway, their colors are instantly recognizable. You see those colors and you automatically think of them. And so it's like, even with like Seth, he picked red and black and white for his logo, and then we've got, the yellow and the pinks and the neons. And so it's like, yeah, branding is important, and the color scheme, fonts, all that plays into that.
Yeah. And, one thing that I'd like to ask Julian in particular, is, aspiring musicians, a lot of times whenever we put these up, musicians that are just coming up also watch these because they want some direction from an experienced band. Give some advice to an aspiring musician who would want to perchance learn something from a band like She Might Be a Beast.
Just right off the bat, that feels crazy. You saying an experienced band, because I still feel so new to this whole thing, but you just keep enjoying the music, because at the end of the day, you're just playing your instrument. You're doing what you want to do, hopefully. Like me and Jacob have never really – Jacob had a couple of people teach him guitar through the years, but we've never had like classes on it. It's just about playing the instrument, feeling good about it, figuring new stuff out. And when you can do that on your own, it kind of adds like this special feeling, because now you've written it in your own language.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Not at all saying not to get a lesson or a teacher, definitely helpful tools, especially with all the stuff they have nowadays. But just enjoy it, because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Well, and when you
Play with
don't
other
enjoy it
people.
anymore and it doesn't become fun, then what's the point?
Right. Because
Exactly.
it's, especially
And
at
then,
the local scene, it's not about the money. We're
No.
there. It's the best feeling in the world, playing in front of one of my favorite shows was at the Goat in the Bywater. Like 4 or 5 people in there, but they were all running around going crazy. And that's just like, you got to love playing your instrument.
Well, yeah, it's about the energy, but also too, like you just said, it's like for me, even like what we're doing, like it's not even about like me or, it is kind of about the scene, but it's about the music for me, because like I'm tired of the current music landscape. I'm so over hearing about all these trendy musicians who like are so overproduced. And so it's like, for me, it's about getting the good music out there in people's ears, top of their minds, so you can deviate them away from the crap. Because like, I mean, Seth, you're the same age as me. So you remember how like the musical landscape was like when we were growing up,
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I saw a video, a YouTube video from, man, I don't remember who it was, but saw a video recently about the actual decline of bands as a whole, like actual musicians who play as a group, and how more of the singles artists are what populate the charts now. And it's essential to have bands. Like, to me, the ecosystem of how music works is with a unit of people making music, because no offense to a solo artist, but a lot of solo artist music is just consumerism. It's a lot of throwaway. It's on the charts for 6 to 8 months at the most, and then on to the next thing. Either it's the next single or the next band or the next artist.
Yeah, but it's not even about the artistry anymore.
Well, right, exactly. It's commercialism. And with a band, in my opinion, and in a band like She Might Be a Beast, you guys are making fun music that, to me, whenever I'm looking to, and I will say this, when I'm doing things for the Loud Hour, I gravitate towards bands like yours, because you're making fun music that I can tell you guys are enjoying making. And that really says something about how a band as a whole, like as what you guys are friends, you're making music that's going to last, that even 10 years from now, even if this band moves on, the members move on, or you guys move on to a bigger, grander scale, I'm going to be wanting to play on whatever platform it is that I'm on, whether it's the Loud Hour, the Rage, whatever. Bands like yourself really are making fun music. And so I like the fact that you guys talked about having fun and making that something that you enjoy doing, because a lot of times it almost feels like work sometimes, and that should never be the case with something you love.
And that is true. So now that leads me to a fun question. Y'all ready for
there
this? I got a fun one planned. All right. So this is kind of out there, but I did this as a way to kind of break the ice. So, all right, you've just been told you are being sent to a deserted island with nothing but idiots, okay? And it's part of a social experiment for 6 months, all right? You follow me? And when I say idiots, I'm talking about, the people that have the porch light on, but nobody's home. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of look at you like, eh? Well, anyway, so you're being sent to a deserted island for 6 months, just like the movie Idiocracy, which you haven't seen it. You need to go see it. Great movie. You are only allowed to bring 2 CDs with you, 2 CDs to keep you sane for the entire 6 months. What 2 CDs do you pick? It's the only music you can listen to for 6 months while being surrounded on an island with idiots.
Oh man.
I guess we could both have separate answers.
Yeah.
But my first CD I'm bringing is our album Art Class, because I mean, look, a lot of musicians will say, "Oh, I don't like to listen to my own music. I never listen to my own music." I only listen to my own music. Like I every time I open Spotify, I first listen to like 3 or 4 of our songs, just because I love the music we make so much. And I wouldn't make it if I didn't want to listen to it. So,
right.
And those people might become fans of ours, of course. But then I'm gonna bring Dirt by Alice in Chains. It's my favorite record of all time.
Oh yeah.
I think it's probably the best record of all time. And I think more people need to hear it.
Hell yeah. What about you, Julian?
Even though, it's very.
He's about to say old.
Yeah, you're about to call it old.
Hey, people still listen to much older music, okay? It's not that old.
I was going to say famous, not old.
Well, I was in middle school when that album came out. Middle school. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm right there with him on.
Jake was like, I wasn't born.
Art Class by She Might Be a Beast. That's my first one. Just because I feel like when I listen to our music, I can appreciate it on a deeper level than I can with most music. And I love the music we write. And then I thought about saying Dirt. It was really tempting. But I think my second one would be, okay, is it double album? Like, can I count that as one
but just
CD,
think about it. This is the
two?
CD that's going to be stuck with you on this deserted island for 6 months while you're surrounded by idiots. So this is going to be your refuge and, what you're going to listen to calm yourself down.
Okay. In that, I'm going to say, By the Way. Is that the album?
You talking about, is it Red Hot Chili Peppers? Like the song, By the Way?
No, album. What's the album title? I can't believe I'm not remembering right.
It's okay. You're having a brain fart.
The album is called By the Way.
By the Way. Okay, I was right.
It is.
Yeah, By the Way, by the Chili Peppers.
That might make you an idiot as well, though.
Because it's 2 CDs. It's 28 songs. So
we'll allow it. We'll allow that.
It's Stadium Arcadium. There's just so much variety.
That's it. Yeah, Stadium Arcadium.
Every day I could listen to a different 7 songs and it won't repeat for a week.
I'm going to agree with you on Red Hot Chili Peppers. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Alice in Chains as well. But, if you're looking for an album to go, if you're looking for pretty much any artist, I should say, if you're going on a road trip, any album by Red Hot Chili Peppers, you can throw that thing on and you can just pass the hour, of listening to it, or even like a double CD, like you're saying. And like the drive goes by super quick. Like a Red Hot Chili Peppers, for some reason, is a great band for road trips. So I agree with you on that, Julian.
I agree.
Super fun to harmonize too. You just get to do a bunch of ooh and ahs,
good sing-along music. Yeah, 100%. We got about 4 minutes left, Seth. I got one more question. What you got, dude?
So, you talked about local shows, and like I talked about experience. You guys don't stop playing shows. You guys play a lot of shows.
I have that, yep.
Yeah, and what has been the show that you guys have absolutely loved? Like, I know you guys have played quite a few different styles of shows, like you said. What's been your favorite show to play?
Earlier this year we got to we opened for, we were opening for a Metallica tribute band called the Four Horsemen at House of Blues, and I feel like that was like one of the, and not only because there was a lot of people, because it was an absolutely packed house, and it was like, it's always a fun experience to be able to play to a crowd that is built in there, that is there to enjoy music and that loves rock and roll, because not only that, but you also know that a lot of these people are hearing you for the very first time.
Hmm.
So you're kind of doing your best to kind of put on the best performance you possibly can, like every show, but you're putting on the best performance to give the people that have never seen you the best impression that you possibly can. And that show was just really fun because there was a lot of people there. It was I just feel like that show had a special energy because we were all really ready. We were all really excited to play it. And yeah, I mean, that was definitely one of my favorite shows.
Julian, what was one of your favorite shows y'all played so far? Because y'all played so much, so.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with them. They have Southport Hall and the House of Blues, which have been just two venues that consistently bring good, fun crowds. People who are, at least the shows we've played, who are ready to rock.
Yeah.
I feel like, uh, yeah, I'd have to agree with him on that. On the Four Horsemen show, that was just the energy there, man. Everyone was ready, regardless of, oh, I know this song or I don't. They were all headbanging, they were all dancing. We had a inflatable eyeball that was given to us.
That's
I
awesome.
think it was like the day before that show, or I might be mistaken. But it was a big inflatable eyeball we had flying through the crowd. It came back on stage. We got to hit it out a few times like tennis rackets.
Hell
It was
yeah.
fun.
That eyeball is y'all's brand, I'm telling you. Like that in the color scheme, like you talked about earlier, man,
Yeah.
y'all got it. Y'all got it all the way. And so I know y'all have got the show coming up with Head P also. Aren't y'all opening for Head P?
Yeah, we just found
Yeah,
out about that
Yeah,
one.
Southport Hall. I think I saw that. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And see, and also too, because your music is so diversified and you are playing with a lot of these
that's
90s
gonna be a
bands that
fun
are,
one.
well recognizable. I think that that's going to be your way in to like really get recognition within the industries, a lot of these, opening gigs.
Yeah, that's really how it's felt. It's been fun, like Jacob
I
said before.
Good, Jake. You said you wanted to say something? What you got?
yeah, I really yeah, I was just going into after playing with this band for like 3 years or so, everybody kind of starts doing they, they start like playing at the smaller clubs and doing their own shows and
Hmm.
maybe like having two other local bands play with us. But something I've found that's really given us a lot of success with the shows is the realization that right now we are definitely a support band, and I
Hmm.
am completely happy with being a support band
Yeah.
right now because I'd much rather open for a band that's actually like somewhat big and has a built-in crowd to where we don't have to worry about maybe putting on our own show and then going out and then, some people can't make it to this one, some people can't make it to this one, and then you end up playing for 15 to 20 people sometimes
Right.
when you could just kind of take your medicine and say, okay, instead of trying to put on my own big shows, I can reach out to promoters, reach out to bands, and kind of build more connections like that to where you are gaining new fans every night. You're playing big shows, which are that's the difference I'd say between a show and a concert.
Hmm.
I love playing the smaller shows, but as a support band, you kind of get these opportunities that to play for crowds who might not know you yet, and that's
Right.
how I've found we gain the most fans.
I love that insight, man. Like that's something that I've never heard before about the difference between shows and concerts.
No, but
And
I
that's
agree. Yeah,
no,
I
I agree
completely
too.
agree.
Like I'm like, oh man, I never like all right, yeah. Like bravo Jake. Like again, hitting it right on the head there. So
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, I've got one more question, then Seth, I'll let you go and do yours and then we can button up. But I
sure.
guess my last question is so, I've noticed this and Seth kind of touched upon it, but like we really think that you're one of the hardest working bands out there locally because like we see the hustle and we see what you guys are doing. So, thinking long term, like where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
You want to start, Julian?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, with this industry specifically, uh, that is a very vague thing to think about because I would be, kind of happy wherever we're at if
Hmm.
we're still able to be playing live music and it's still sustainable for us. But, ideally in 5 years, we're going to be doing a little bit more of like a national or regional push, trying to get out there and being able to build shows elsewhere as well as in our hometown,
Mm-hmm.
and have it all be successful. That'd be
Oh yeah.
great. But, just being able to play music, because you never know. Like, you never know whenever some crazy thing is going to come up or whatever might happen. So if we're sustainably playing music, that'd be a win for me.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What about you, Jake?
Like I said, I see us as a support band right now. In 5 years, I still see us as a support band. We can go from opening for bands like Head PE, and
Mm-hmm.
then hopefully in 5 years we could open for Green Day. You know, I and I'd like to be playing some regional festivals. That's always been a huge goal of mine. We
Mm-hmm.
went to Louder Than Live 2022, and it was kind of the big thing for me to where I started to notice all the younger bands just like us, even younger than us, playing these awesome shows
Mm-hmm.
on these awesome stages to these awesome crowds. I'm like, dude, we could definitely do that. We just need to find our spot. We need to find somebody who has faith in us, even though, we're not we're not very big, we're not very famous at all. But if we could find somebody who really likes us and can help us get to that next level, I feel like that's a good plan for us to kind of build on that regional level, like Julian is saying, and just spread the word more. But in reality, I'll be happy in 5 years if we're still doing what we are and we are playing awesome shows to awesome crowds. And I just hope we're still playing music in 5 years. I know we will be, but I just want to do the most we can to build our success and spread our music to the most amount of people we possibly can.
Hell yeah. I think that's a great outlook to have. Seth, you got anything else to add?
Yeah, Nicole talked about the long term. I want to talk about short term. Short term, obviously, Radfest this upcoming weekend.
Yep.
We've got Radfest on the 20th and 21st. Where are you guys on the time slot? Are you on the Friday night? Are you on the Saturday night? We didn't mention that
Oh,
here
I
in the
did at the
episode.
beginning. You missed it,
Oh, you
Seth.
did? Okay, I missed it. I'm sorry. But still, nonetheless, what time slot are you guys playing for Radfest?
They're second on Friday night.
We are playing, yeah, we're playing second on the first night at Feed and Seed, I believe it
Yep.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep. 7:45 to
And,
8:15 is their time. Yeah.
yeah, we're excited to do that.
Ooh, y'all got a good time slot.
We've only played in Lafayette one time before, and we're excited to go back. We're very thankful that we got put on this festival, and we're looking to have some fun.
So are you guys going to come out Saturday to support some of the bands too, or y'all have other stuff booked?
We're definitely gonna try.
Okay. Because
So,
like I planned on being there Friday night, but I don't know logistically if I'm going to be able to, just like with my mommy duties and stuff, and then driving to Lafayette because I'm in Baton Rouge. So, but I'm gonna be out there all
I'll
day
be there.
Saturday. So
I'll
I
be
hope,
there the Friday and the Saturday. So I'll
yeah,
be there
Seth will
both.
be out there because Seth lives out there.
Yep.
But for me, it takes like an hour and like 15 minutes. So
So follow up question to the Radfest question, near term. You talked about art class. You talked about the album. When are we going to get new music? When are we going to get another album? Is it in the future soon, or you just got to wait a little bit longer to find out more from She Might Be a Beast as far as new music?
So we just released our song Tranquilized at the beginning of August. And
Yep.
we have another one coming very soon. We haven't started production on it yet, but we're about to. It's called Null and Void. It's another high energy, kind of more geared towards metal.
mhm.
And we play it live all the time, even though we haven't recorded or released it yet, and it's already become a fan favorite. It's really got that energy. I think this song screams She Might Be a Beast. And it's another one of those where you get me and Julian kind of going back and forth on the lead vocals,
Mhm.
very
Nice.
aggressive, you know. And those are the songs that kind of that I love to play. I'm a total metal guy, and the more aggressive our music can be, to me, the better. For me, at least. I love punk rock and funk and blues as well,
Mhm.
but I just love giving it that push, giving it that aggression, and feel like that's kind of what makes us She Might Be a Beast is because you never know what the next song is gonna sound like,
Mhm.
I guess, and we have an unpredictable thing about us. But yeah, that song should definitely it's gonna be coming before the end of the year, it will likely be November when that song comes out.
I'm
Okay.
looking forward. I'm looking forward to it, and it obviously will be on the
We're really
Rage as
excited for
well.
people to
So
hear
I
it.
have you guys already featured on in rotation on the Rage. So please send it to me when you can, and it'll definitely be on the station.
Hell yeah. Well, I've got one last question. One more.
Oh
So,
yeah.
set list for Radfest. What can we expect?
I'll tell you one thing. We're
I
I'll
guess
give you two songs that you can definitely expect.
Okay.
One of them's Sheriff. It's been kind of our
I know Sheriff, yeah.
go-to end of the set. You
Mhm.
know, that for a long time was our heaviest song. I don't know if that's true anymore. And the other song we're definitely going to play, and I'll tell you this right now, in light of talking about Null and Void, is Null and Void. If y'all want to come catch a sneak peek of some new tracks, it's definitely a good one. Like Jacob said, fan favorite pretty much already, and we haven't even started production on it. Getting ready to
Yeah.
soon.
Hell yeah. Seth, you got anything else?
I'm good, guys.
You're
Thank you
good.
so very
I'm good.
much for.
Anything that you guys want to add that you
thank
want to let
y'all.
people know?
Yeah, we have 15 songs on Spotify. So check out our music on Spotify because we have something for everybody. We have soft alternative rock, indie sounding music. We have pop punk bangers, and we have very grungy metal music. So no matter what kind of rock and roll you're into, we got something for you. So
Or
check
as
it
like
out.
I said earlier, go down the rabbit hole and listen to all your music because there is quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. All right. Well,
Thank you
no
guys
one
so
has
much.
anything. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said thank you guys so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
We really
No, dude.
appreciate being on here.
Oh,
And
yeah. No, no. I
you
appreciate
guys
y'all.
do a lot for the local rock communities.
Well, we're trying. I mean, my plan is just to kind of build this little community and, network of good music. And so hopefully we can flood the airwaves, like I said, and get the crap off and bring some of the good stuff in and kind of like change the landscape of things to where it is more geared towards, indie music and alternative music and, things like that. So, they always say that, it takes small steps, to make a big splash. And so, I'm hoping eventually, things will catch on and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But
and
in
I did.
closing, I just want to say thank y'all for joining us today. And so this was an amazing conversation today, which She Might Be a Beast. They're a New Orleans based band and they are absolutely incredible. I consider them neo-grunge, but I mean, they've got metal influences, like they said, something for everybody. So I'll throw up the links to their website and you'll have to go down the rabbit hole and check out their music. And then they're playing Friday night, September 20th at Feed and Seed in Lafayette. They go on from 7:45 to 8:15, second band to play. So be sure to come out and support local music. So thanks, y'all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank y'all for having us.